Welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a strategy to once and for all control, manage, and conquer your inbox. If your email frustrates you and takes more time than it should, stay tuned. I have a very detailed yet simple system that I'm going to outline for you.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Every time that you pull up your inbox, you just look at it and just go, what the WTF? Well, if you're anything like most people, you probably are. Email has taken up so much of our time and it's cluttered with so much stuff that it's difficult sometimes to get through it all. Well, I'm going to lay out a system for you that will help you conquer this once and for all. While you're listening to this, if you're able to take notes, great. But if you're not, that's okay as well. If you send me an email, thor@thorconklin.com, I'll send you a diagram with this entire process on it. But listen to this first, as it may uncover, or at least go into a little bit more detail than just the diagram. First step, you need to schedule time in your calendar 2 to 3 times a day. You can do it once if you want to, but I find that 3 works for me. I schedule 30 minutes 3 times a day to process email. Not check email, not look at email, but process email. It's an active process. Many of you are still using your inbox as a collection box, a filing system, and never getting through it, never processing it, and it's always full. You can't do that. If you want to be a peak performer, you've got to remove things out of your inbox. That's not where they belong. And this system is going to show you how to do that. You've got a mailbox out by the road where the mailman puts in mail, right? Well, could you imagine if you never emptied it out? There'd be no place for the mail to go. It'd just overflow. It'd be on the ground. You've got to clean out the inbox. It is not intended to be a storage file. Here's the way I look at inboxes. Everything that's in the inbox will disappear forever within 24 hours. Think of it as an invisible ink or invisible disappearing letter. Whatever it is, it can only be in there for 24 hours, and after that, it's gone. You know, it's like going out with your buddies on a Saturday night. You're single, find this beautiful blonde in the corner of the bar. It's about 10 minutes to closing time. And if you don't go up and say hello, introduce yourself, she will be gone forever. You will never see her again. There's a time frame on this. Same thing with your email. You've only got 24 hours. After 24 hours, it's gone. You got to get in there, you got to process, and you got to do something with it. You've heard the phrase, touch it, you bought it. Well, that's what happens with email. As soon as you touch it, you've got to do something with it. I know some systems out there ask, is an email actionable? Well, every single email in this system is actionable because you've got to do something with it. It's got to be removed from the inbox. Deleting it is an action. It's actionable. You deleted it. And hopefully with many of the emails, that's exactly what you're going to do. Just delete it. You're going to set up in your email system a reading file. And the first step, what you're going to do when you're processing your inbox is to see if the email, just go in order, start at the top. Is this an email that's someone asking me to buy something from them? Is it a newsletter? Is it a resource? Is it a blog? Is this part of some drip campaign? All of that goes directly into reading. You are not going to read it at this moment. Now, for some of your diehards out there, I can hear you screaming already. You're going to end up touching it twice. Yes, I am. But it only takes me a second to see who it's from to determine if it's going right into the reading file. I don't read the first sentence. I don't read any of it. It literally goes right on over. Now, in my email system, I actually have a little preview open, and I can look in about a nanosecond whether this is something that this person is reaching out to me and needs something from me, or simply is trying to sell me something or advise me of something or give me a resource. Second, all of my inboxes are set up by from. I'm sorting them. Who are they from? So if I have 5 emails from one person, I don't have to skip. I can take care of that one thing with that one person, and it's grouped together. So don't do it by time when it comes into your inbox. Do it by from. Who's it from? I'll start right at the top, and I'll read the email. And the next step that I'm asking myself is, what's the next step? If it was simply informational purposes only, I'm going to move it to a file. It goes into one of 3 files. The first one, trash. The second one, a file that I call WTF, waiting on things from. I use this file as a tickler system that I can refer back to find those outstanding items, those outstanding things that I'm waiting on things from people. I want to keep track of them. I don't want to forget that I'm waiting for something from them. So I put the email into this folder. And last, I may file it into a specific file, something work-related, client-related, personal-related, travel-related, etc. You should all have files set up in various categories. Now let's say it's just not informational purposes only, and I need to do something with it. I forward it to someone who's going to be responsible for it. I'll reply to the email with an answer. I'll delegate it to someone. If it's 5 minutes or less, I'll actually do it. If it's 5 minutes or longer, I'll defer it. I'll schedule it. I'll put a note on my calendar to work on X. Now guess what? That email is still in the inbox, right? The original email is still there. I've got to do something with it. What do? I've got to put it into one of the files. Waiting on things from, I'll trash it, or I'll stick it into a file. Now, the decision that I make between trashing it and putting it into a folder is the trash is automatically cleaned out every 60 days. So if it's something I'm not going to have to refer to after 60 days, I'll simply throw it into the trash can. And if I need to refer to it tomorrow or next week, I simply go to the search function and I can find it. Otherwise, I'll stick it into a folder. But once again, I got it out of the inbox. Nothing remains after I process email. We already discussed that we sort the inboxes by sender, not by what time they arrived. Also, you should have an email account just for your drip campaigns, your newsletters, the resources you've signed up for, and all that other stuff. You do not want those things jamming your work or your personal emails. Just go out, create a Gmail account, and as you're processing this account, if you no longer want to receive those subscriptions, simply go and unsubscribe. It's a great way to keep your inbox clean in the future by just getting rid of those things you no longer want to receive. Make sure you turn all notifications off. You do not want to be notified of new emails coming into your inboxes. It doesn't matter. You're going to process email 3 times a day. You do not need to know about them in between. If you have an executive assistant or virtual assistant, they can help organize some of this. They can get some of the reading emails out of your system ahead of time. They can help organize high priorities. They can actually even have a high priority folder for you. I won't go into too much detail here, but you can reach out to me if you have questions along these lines. But a VA or an executive assistant can be very helpful in helping you process emails. Keep your responses short. Everybody loves to send these long emails. Keep them short. A sentence or 2. Keep it as short as possible. And train those sending you emails to keep it as short as possible as well. In addition to creating a separate email for the drip campaigns and all the things you subscribe to, and making sure that you go in there and unsubscribe to the ones that you don't want, automate your bills. Instead of having a bill come to your email and actually pay it, just automate it. Get it done on an automatic basis. And when responding to emails, leave the action back in their court. When someone writes to you and says, hey, I'd like to sit down and talk to you next week. When are you available? Send them 2 or 3 dates. Throw it back in their court. Don't ask them when are you available. And better yet, simply get Acuity to run all your systems, all your scheduling rather. They've got a free version. You can find a link here in the show notes. It's a great, great system. All you got to do, it automates everything. It syncs with your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar. Now let's touch on one last piece. And those are the things that take over 5 minutes. It might be a big project. You've got to make a decision. Is this a must-do or is it a want-to-do? If it's a must-do, simply put it on your calendar, schedule the time to get it done. If it's a want-to-do, I keep a folder in Evernote that simply says want to do. And it's a whole big list of things that I'd like to do, but I don't have to do them. In addition to this folder, I also have a folder that says someday maybe. I look at my someday maybe file every month, and the want to do, I look at that once a week. And many times, once I get done with the must do's, quite frankly, the want to do's and the someday maybes, quite frankly, never get done. And that's okay, because they're not the highest priority. You've got to pick what you're going to work on, and you've got to pick the best. If you follow this system, you'll have 0 emails in your inbox. It'll be very quick to process. And then you simply schedule some time to go through your reading file. Whether it be in the evening, once a week, doesn't matter, whenever you want to. But remember, all that stuff in your reading file are distractions. That is not your core business, and you do not want that interrupting your key times during the day. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.